What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well out there. It is, of course, your boy, Andrew Esquire, and this is a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. Welcome to the late night edition time. It's time to get unbreaded. We've got some fun stuff for you today. I'm going to be going over, really in the stream, what Bob Iger would have to do to quiet the noise. And spoiler alert, why I believe that's not actually going to happen. I'll give you what I think is really going to happen here. What's the real story, which I think a lot of other channels are missing. A lot of other channels have had the chance to cover this, and really they've allowed it to go underplayed, but they're missing what's going to happen with the lawsuits. They're missing what's going to happen with the resolution of those cases and how that plays into Bob Iger talking about quieting noise. So I pretty much think almost everybody else has missed out on this, except for if they've had me on the channel and I've chimed up about it. So I just want to bring this up. I know like Drinker did a video and other folks did a video, and they're very much right in an aspect, but they're missing out on a huge part of why this statement was made and why it was made. Now, also, there was a pretty insane filing, like Daryl Brooks level in the Disney case, in terms of a like random Pokemon of a party that just showed up. So we're going to read that. It's pretty insane. It's like sovereign citizen level. So you guys know, like Nick Rekieta has unbreaded. This is like on the unbreaded level of craziness. So we're going to read through that later because it's absolutely deranged. But it's good to see everybody here in the chat. Also over on Rumble and on Locals, what's up to Ben SC and Danielle over there on Locals. We've got Occupant 42, Max Mura, and a couple others over on Rumble as well. Trying to free Johnny Somali over there on Rumble. But it's good to see you guys wherever you happen to be, whatever platform you're on. And shout out to Rumble for staying relatively based. And what's up to all the members in the chat here? Let me say hi to all the members because we are almost at a field of green right now. Field of blue, field of green, but not field of greens because they're no longer sponsoring the channel. No, but yeah, we've got a lot of folks here. So, Gene, what's up? Good to see you. Augusto Pinochet, Hypnotic Rapture, Andrew F. Good to see you. Jennifer Douglas, Not K, Brandon the Anime Guy. Who else we got here? Let's see. Odawall, Legendary Racing. Good to see you as well. The good members, long-time members, and Smopo Vienna, who is #1 in the chat. Good to see all of y'all there. Hope you're enjoying the new emojis. I actually have to upload the castle on fire emoji. That was just completed. A random castle may or may not look like the Disney castle on fire. That will be up after the stream. I'll get that uploaded afterwards. Is this live? Well, if you want to know whether it's live or not, you better use that live emoji, right? It's all about the live emoji, which Danielle is using right there. So yeah, no, good stuff. Appreciate that from all you guys, and good to see you guys in the house. Yeah, I am going to do a Johnny Somali stream on Go East Gentlemen. I want to really go into that on my travel channel, or my Visa traveling channel, Go East Gentlemen. So I'm going to do a video for that, probably maybe after this even. We'll see. Probably not a stream, but probably just a shorter video. But I'll record it after this at least, and then talk about it a little bit later about kind of effing around and finding out in Asia. Because a lot of folks, they think Asia is a place where people are soft and, they're kind of scared. That's not the case. They're trying to be accommodating because it's the polite thing to do, but don't mistake that for weakness, and don't mistake that if you fuck around and break a law, they are going to punish you. And Japan, and just so you guys know, Japan has a 98% conviction rate. So for Johnny Somali, it is not looking very good, right? It is not looking very good. But there's also other stuff I know about that case, which I'll talk about later. Hunch for $2 says, "Are we live?" Hunch, I have developed a new technology that allows me to read super chats even during a premiere. It is my secret technology, and of course, someone decides to try to call me. Who the fuck's trying to call me? People trying to call me at random ass times. But anyways, yeah. So we're live. Obviously, people try to call me because we're live. Let's see, Johnny about to Pearl Harbor. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh God. Always ask if it's live. Yes, always ask if it's live. And also shout out to the Rumble Ghetto. I see y'all over there representing on the Rumble Ghetto. All right, so we're gonna jump right into it. So, what are we talking about today? What am I jumping into in terms of the story? So let's jump it with the Daily Mail. This is kind of just an article that's reporting on the news that I think a lot of you guys have seen or talked about, or the other channels have talked about. But I want to talk about it here. And this article, of all the articles, kind of brought up some points that I wanted to make as I move around and talk to you about how Bob Iger could quiet the noise and why he's not going to. So Disney boss Bob Iger says the company will quiet the noise as it remains in legal spat with Governor Ron DeSantis after it waded into the parental rights and education bill, because I do not call it that. So that aside, the one thing I will say about the article, and the reason why I picked this one, is it actually mentions the lawsuits. See, a lot of channels have been focusing on, because they really don't know anything about the law, or they're not really, that's not their specialty. They don't want to comment on it. They don't understand how bad these cases are. They don't understand how weak these cases are, and they don't really understand how they're going to go away they're going to have a resolution in the next couple months. So because of that, because they're going to have this resolution, this is why Bob is saying quiet the noise. It is the exact same thing as saying, you're not firing me, I quit, right? Or if your girlfriend is like cheating on you and you're like, well, I'm not breaking up with you're not breaking up with me, I'm breaking up with you. It's like, well, she already fucked another dude, but okay, cool, we're there. It's a petty thing that doesn't really prove the point you're thinking you're making here. If they're going to lose in court, and what's going to happen is they're going to back down, they're going to let the cases go. That's not Bob Iger being the bigger person. That's Bob Iger avoiding taking the L, doing it to feel better, to justify to himself, and his company, oh, we didn't lose. We never lost. Disney never lost. We quit because, we wanted to be the bigger person. Well, no, that's not how it is. But their media outlets are going to be able to put the spin on it. Their media outlets are going to be able to put the spin on it. The other thing is, and obviously we have to be conscious of this, is that the stock price right now is fucking tanking. And sorry guys, I'm on a cursing streak today this morning. I'll try to be a little bit better. I'll channel my inner monk here. Okay, we gotta be nice. But 81.25. I remember the other day we were looking at it. We're in the high 81s, but now we're down even more in 81.25, and we're on a bear trend. If you look at the broader trends, you go to like a 5-day or a month cycle, right? Screw you with your, best charts ever. But anyways, you can see, like, if you go full size this charts, no, screw you. You can see that the and this is not financial advice, right? But the trend is clearly down, right? The trend is, I'm not a financial person. Do not take any financial advice from me whatsoever. That would be a horrible idea. You'd be an idiot to do that. But this is a straight line down here. I mean, you can even see, if you go out back broader, how far they've fallen, right? So the far is pretty cataclysmic. If it's year to date, it's even worse. They're setting new lows now. So they're on a bear trend to set new lows for the company. It's absolutely abysmal. So that's the context here. Oh, Jacob, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. And I appreciate everybody. Even if you pop in, you drop a like on the video, that really helps. We're at 213 likes. If you guys can smash the like button right now, just that helps me out. Just come in, smash the like button. 213 of you, helps out the videos. So yeah, he's saying he's going to quiet the noise. So this is amidst an investor meeting. So that's the context people need to get, is that it's within the context of an investor meeting. So Bob Iger is trying to calm down investors and get them to push more money into the company by saying, oh, yeah, we'll do that. But that's like an Amber Heard pledge. It doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't actually mean he's going to go do that. It's the same thing as the SEC filing that says they'll spend $60 million. Now, what I want to highlight here, because this is actually incorrect and this is misinformation from The Guardian and misinformation from Disney, is here's what they said here. They said that when they file in their SEC filings, which, by the way, I would love for them to be prosecuted on a lot of these things, but of course these filings are so vague that they're essentially promising nothing. But they're saying that they're going to invest in $60 million in infrastructure in parks and cruise lines. But what the lie here is, and what the Daily Mail gets wrong, is saying Walt Disney World in Orlando is expected to be at the forefront. It isn't. In their own presentation, they said that Asia will be the primary beneficiary. So Shanghai, Hong Kong, the cruise lines, which are going to be centered in Asia, centered out of Singapore. So the Asian markets are going to be the ones getting largely most of that 60 million. It will not be Walt Disney World Florida. They're going to get some of that allegedly, but not 60 million. So the amount they're going to invest in there is not as much as they thought it was. And actually, that's what the investors and that's what the market said. They said, hey, Disney, you're really not going to be investing that much in your parks, and that's your moneymaker. So, especially American parks, particularly Disney World. Also, you've not talked about at all stopping this woke agenda, which everybody has said. And this is even an analyst saying that Disney has a woke agenda. It's bad when the mainstream media is saying you're woke. That's real bad. That's real bad. It's not just crazy alt-right misogynists like Legal Mindset over here saying it. It's literally like mainstream analysts at financial firms being like, yeah, Disney's gone woke. Disney's gone woke. Brandon, the anime guy, for $2 says, almost time for Goblin Slayer season 2. Yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm excited for all new animes. It's been great to catch up with that, and I'm sure I'll be covering that with you in sometime in the future, Brandon. And Brandon also says, as long as Iger is there, hashtag Duck Disney forever. Yes, it is. As long as Iger is there, he's the one who's been pushing a lot of the worst things, right? A lot of the worst problems here. So this is really the nexus here, right? The nexus for all the woke stuff has been Bob Iger. Bob Iger's been the person that nominated the people and has been the person that pushed the agenda. So that's really the issue that's still going on. Okay, so let's get back into this because this is what I want to talk about with the lawsuit. So DeSantis targeted Disney's special tax district and replaced it with a board of its own allies. Changed the name to the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District. So earlier this month, Disney dropped because they were going to get dismissed, a massive chunk of its federal lawsuit against the Florida governor. See, once again, Disney lost here. So Disney dropping was a prelude to what they will do with their federal complaint as a whole. They got to refile in the state case, which they eventually did. And Iger's comments about focusing on entertainment rather than issues come after a spate of recent box office busts. So we have to put it in the light of the fact that everything they've put out, so Little Mermaid, Guardians of the Galaxy, Strange World, Lightyear, that's all failed, and they're losing with the lawsuits. So what I've been saying in a lot of my videos, I've put together a timeline of the Disney fails. It's not just that they have the lawsuits, it's the lawsuits plus the economic loss. If they were winning in the box office and losing in the lawsuit, it wouldn't be as big of a deal, honestly. This wouldn't be a news item. But they're losing in both. And that's the thing. When you can't run your business and you're losing in court, it looks bad. You can do one or the other, right? You can win in court and then maybe have some economic setbacks. You can win in your company performing well, lose in court and be fine. But both, that's really, really bad for investors. And obviously all of those woke movies have failed because people have routinely rejected them. They said, we do not want that. But the company has been faced with a loss from Disney Plus. So Disney Plus was expected to become profitable, but guess what? Iger said that they're not really even sure it's going to be profitable till 2026. So not really sure it's going to be profitable for several years. And they're not even giving real predictions on that. They're saying, well, we're hoping it's going to be positive, but we don't know. We don't have any real idea whether it'll be positive or not. But speaking of positive, I want to give a big shout out here to Miss Rose D, thank you very much, Rose D. Rose, you gave 5 gift memberships. Appreciate those 5 memberships. Thank you, Rose. All the members, you are the base Chads and Stacy's out there. Make sure you click on Rose D's membership, the gift membership, and say accept gift membership. So you have to be able to accept it. And then when you accept it, you'll receive it. And obviously say thank you to Rose if you receive one of those gift memberships. It is much appreciated to make the chat a sea of green. So, because obviously, this chat is the only green that is to be had when it's talking about Disney and money, right? The only people, the only money that's raining or should be raining is in the chat, not with Disney. But that being said, all right. Paul Verna, an analyst with Insider Intelligence, told Reuters, the political risks of doing business in Florida won't stop Disney from continuing to invest in its most lucrative U.S. destination. This is actually very sober-headed, right? So they have to invest in Florida at some point. They have to stay there. They can't move anywhere. This is what most logical people know, is that you have to stay in Florida because that is the only place you have that deal. That's the only place you can get the land. The things cannot be moved. You can't set that up anywhere else. So yeah, that's right, Paul. That's absolutely right, Paul. Dennis Spiegel says, like it or not, a battle in the Central Florida market with Universal. Disney has held the throne and they're not going to relinquish it, in my opinion. I highly disagree with this one. I think that actually with Epic Universe has the ability to take a swipe at take a swipe at Disney, right? Take a swipe at Magic Kingdom. And even if you've looked at some of the numbers for Disney versus Universal, there's been times when they're coming close to losing out. There's been times when they're actually coming close to losing out overall. Okay, so Bob wants to quiet the noise. So what are some of the things that they would have to do to quiet the noise in terms of the culture war? So we're going to get to the lawsuit again, but I want to talk about what Bob would have to do to quiet the noise. Number one, and first and foremost, is go back to what his old frenemy, Bob Chapek, said with this chick. You'd have to have a standing order for the Rachel Zeglers of the world, right, to actually shut the hell up, right? So obviously you'd have to have the order for Zegler to not talk anymore. So you'd have to have that line out there that, hey, regardless of what your political belief is, actors and actresses need to shut up. They need to act. They need to do the role. Now, they also need to change the writing of the stories themselves. They need to make the stories good stories, right? They can still be diverse. They can still be whatever, modern. But as long as they're good and the actors aren't pushing political points, Disney will likely be fine because people will still need entertainment for kids. So that's what they've got to do. But the problem is that people like Rachel Zegler won't do it. And that's exactly right. Jean said it. She won't, though. People like this will not shut the hell up. And that's Disney's problem, is that even when you tell them to, they literally cannot do it. It's impossible for them to do it. So this is a big issue for them going forward. You'd have to literally fire them. Say, we're going to make an example of Rachel Zegler. We're going to fire her, and we're going to say, we are serious about this. We're serious enough about this to fire her. And I think the best step would be to either shut down the Snow White production or fire her completely, start from scratch. If you really wanted to quiet the noise, that would do it. Anything else but that. If Zegler is on board and that Snow White goes through and it's got the Seattle hippies, you know, that's not reversing. That's just you not commenting on legislation because you know you can't win. Once again, Disney knowing that when it comments on stuff, it can actually be punished for that. Or rather, there can be repercussions for that. But also, more broadly, when Disney takes a stance, when Disney is taking stances it shouldn't take, people are going to react to that who don't like those positions. So Disney is really getting not a backlash just from DeSantis. It really isn't DeSantis at all. It's people that are rejecting the agenda, right? People are rejecting what Zegler has to sell. Like no one wants what Ziegler has to sell. And also bring back the little people. What's wrong with the little people? Nothing. Well, the next thing I brought up that you've got to get rid of, and this is very important, is you've got to get rid of the DEI, right? This is the Disney Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department, right? You've got to scratch all of this. This has got to go. All of this stuff has got to go. Disney DEI, all this stuff has got to go, particularly when you come to the community groups, which have allowed for organization and infiltration of the entire Disney corporation, whereby they can shut the company down or they can cause major problems by not working. You got to fire these guys off en masse, get rid of DEI, get rid of the DEI heads. You've got to really, really, really shut it down hard, right? They're not going to do this. This is if you say you want to quiet the noise, you've got to do this. And there's no way in hell that's going to happen. Yes, Latondra is gone, the former head, but there's a new diversity head. There's a new diversity head to replace them. So with ESG, with diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI or DIE, right? DIE because it's the death of a company. If they don't do this, they don't take action on this, there's no way to quiet the noise. The noise is just going to get louder because literally the entire purpose of this department in a corporation is to cause problems. It's the thing that causes problems in any corporation. The second this comes in, you're dead. RIP. Citrix said, I'm waiting for CG Project Red to succumb to its death grip. Dude, any company that brings this in, any company, I don't care how good they were, how base they are, whatever. If you bring this in, you're done. You're done. It's absolutely over. It's got to go. It's all got to go. You've got to purge it out of your system. So, but unless you do this, it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. And then, of course, the next thing they've got to do is you've got to get rid of the lawsuits, because right now, and this is actually some pretty fair reporting from Inside the Magic, which I'm gonna contrast with you with Disney's shill reporting in a second. But yeah, they're losing. They're losing bad. They're losing horribly. And even the Disney media is getting around to it that they're not winning, that Disney is not winning in the courtroom. They are absolutely 100% getting their bussy blasted, and they need to settle these lawsuits. And what they have to do, and Disney, listen up. I know you're listening here. Here's what they do. Withdraw the federal complaint, the state complaint, you withdraw, you settle that, you settle it, right? And you say, hey, listen, we want to settle, we want to end this, we agree the contracts are invalid, we're going to stop fighting that, and we're going to enter into a new agreement with you, a legal agreement, which is properly noticed, which goes out to everybody, which has power on both sides, consideration on both sides, a basic element of contracts. We're going to settle this with the state of Florida. That's what you got to do. Now, just doing that is not enough alone. Now, doing this is the best case scenario for them in the lawsuit. It's the smartest thing to do legally from a business standpoint. But without the DEI, the ESG, the Rachel Zegler, quieting these celebrities down and putting a gag order on them and firing them or changing the productions, changing the writing, without changing the actual IP, they're not going to quiet the noise. They've got to actually work on shutting the actors and actresses up, changing the IP, and settling the lawsuits. They've got to do all of these things at the same time. Unless they do all of them, it's just lip service. It's an Amber Heard promise, and my money is on an Amber Heard promise. My money is that this language is because they want to appear to be the bigger person, and I think a settlement or at least a withdrawal of their complaints is in the cards very shortly. Here's the other problem, though, and here's what most other channels aren't covering. I've covered this. Remember, Disney is under investigation for criminal penalties in Florida. And my sources from within Florida say that big things are coming against Disney. We are long from done with Disney when it comes to criminal and civil penalties, particularly related to their behavior with the former Reedy Creek, which is something I've been covering from day one. As an attorney, as a person who represented special districts, I can say that it was pretty clear that what Disney was doing was unethical. When I was across the table from Reedy Creek and Disney, what they were doing was unethical. Now, I didn't have the proof that what they were doing was illegal. However, it appears the Inspector General may gather that information very shortly. And I will be the first person to say I was not only not surprised, but I told you so. I warned you. They knew. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They knew what they were doing was unethical, and they knew it risked criminal and civil prosecution. And of course, that's what they're going to get, it seems, in Florida in the near future. So this whole quiet the noise is an attempt to make them seem like they're garnering sympathy before there is a massive criminal and civil investigation into Disney. It is not going anywhere. Disney kicked the hornet's nest when it didn't need to go there, and it brought this upon itself. August Pinochet says the dwarves have been tossed by life. They shouldn't be tossed by Disney too. Hashtag justice for the dwarves. Yes, indeed, justice for the dwarves. I mean, look, there's not that many jobs for little people, so we've really give them what we can give them. Give them what we can give them. Let's see what else we got here. We've got Corey Cass says, Andrew, great content. Read this if you're not live, with a live emoji. Yes, appreciate your live emoji. Yes, we're not live. We're using our latest Premier Super Chat technology, where we are allowed to read super chats on a Premiere while it's premiering. It's our latest technology here. Obviously, very advanced. The legal mindset, very advanced. And one reason why I know that Disney is going to go this way, and let me show you guys the shill article. So this article is from The Street. It is written by a manlet whose name is Daniel Klein. So one reason why I know that they're going to use a woe is me sort of strategy is this article. Let me read this real quick. So DeSantis, this is from 16 hours ago. So this is a recent article. Let me zoom in here. So obviously this is a deranged leftist. So I want to just point out to you, this is a crazy lefty. But DeSantis steps up his war on Disney World while Iger moves on, right? So this is the most shill of shill things to say. First of all, what is DeSantis stepping up? Disney is the one that filed the lawsuit. And this is the Disney track, which is, oh, well, we're going away. We're moving on. Well, you're still in a lawsuit. You haven't dropped the lawsuit. You've got to drop the lawsuit, boys. By the way, shout out to the 199. I see some folks here in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Very base Chads, the Geeks and Gamer Squad. Hope to hang out with those guys when I'm down in Florida. Also, yeah, this saying that there is an attack. The attack has been entirely on Disney's part. Disney's self-owned. But to say that, oh, because DeSantis continues to call them woke, well, they are woke. They are woke, right? So it's the war current Bob Iger does not want, and his latest remarks make that very clear. It makes it clear that he's a bitch-made loser who got his ass blasted in court, and now he's backing down because he took a giant L in the courtroom. This whole quiet the noise would never happen if he was winning in court. It would never happen. It is the trademark of the woke left. In fact, using the victim card and using the shill media to play the victim card here, because mind you, this is entirely a Disney shill media. This is the real strategy, people. Wake up. The other channels are missing this. The real strategy is Iger, when he loses and he's about to lose in court, wants to play the victim. And when he gets a criminal prosecution against Disney executives, a civil prosecution against Disney executives, they are going to cry victim. They're going to say, I want to move on. You're picking on me. They are preparing their defense ahead of time. They're preparing the media narrative. And the thing the leftists love is the victim card. So Disney has to look like a victim. They have to continue to play the victim card. Their victim argument is about to lose in court, which is why I say the smartest thing for them to do to play the victim card is to drop their complaint in federal court so they can be the bigger person. But at the same time, because it wasn't proven on the merits, they can still hold out the argument that, well, we had a good argument. We were going to win, but we wanted to be the bigger person. That's what Disney is going to do. I'm calling it today. This is what Disney will do. They are going to withdraw the complaint and say, oh, well, we want to be the bigger person. But we would have won. We could have won if we took it all the way, but we wanted to be bigger. We want to move on. It's the narrative. Yes, you've got it, Opus. It's the narrative. It's what they do. It's what all of these leftists do. When they don't win in court, when it is a clear W, they play the victim card and they push it on the other party. And this is something that I see because I don't just look at lawsuits. I know a lot of lawyers, they just look at the lawsuit. They've never worked in a business in their life. They've never seen the business end. But because I have been in the business side and the law side, I see the both areas and I say, oh, this is clearly the strategy they're going to take from a PR standpoint. And you have to stay on top of these people because you have to keep them honest. You have to say, nope, that's bullshit. This is exactly what you're trying to do. So, yeah, that's where I see that going right there. Okay. So that's what I've got for going, quieting the noise. But after all that, I'll put a poll in the chat. Let's see. And I want to see if you guys are convinced. Do you think Disney will actually quiet the noise? A quick yes or no. See what you guys think in the chat. Meanwhile, we've got a deranged filing to read. This is actually kind of fun. This is like a little bit of an unbreaded, if you for those Nick Rekieta folks, for those that aren't familiar, that's like a crazy individual who let's say he had a manifesto of sorts. And yeah, it was quite nuts. There is a crazy filing in this case. Now, this is the Florida case. So this is not the federal case, it's the Florida case involving the CFTOD and the Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Inc. So this is the actual Florida filing between the CFTOD and Walt Disney. So it's not the federal case with DeSantis, it's the state case, which is actually the important case, the one that nobody but me is covering, the one that only I am covering. And I am remiss to not cover this September 13th mediation report, which, yeah, I don't even know how to call it. A mediation report is not the word to call it. Crazy batshit ramblings that a rando filed. Now, and yes, I was, this is like not full Matt Harris, but it's pretty crazy, right? So here's the thing. Whenever there's a famous case with famous people involved, right? A lot of crazies like to file things to get attention. And I wasn't gonna pay attention to it, but it's too funny not to cover. So I want to cover this, and I want to do it in the spirit and essence of Unbreaded, and kind of read it with the same vigor as Unbreaded. This filing here, it's only 2 pages. It's kind of short, but it is quite good. Let me get the super chat. Cute Nerd says, why DeSantis is not pointing out their opposition to the Parental Rights Act more often, and what is in that act? Victims that lobby parental rights. Well, the disgusting thing is that they keep calling it, the news media keeps calling it the liberal word, right? The opposite of the anti-grooming bill. It's always the anti-grooming bill to me. Yeah, I'll put that over here in Rumble. By the way, I'm going to get the Rumble rants right here in a second. So we'll get those read right now. But yeah, no, they should point it out. They should point out that, hey, look, the Parental Rights and Education Bill was super reasonable. It is literally Disney saying they want to propagandize to young children and teach young children about really vile sexual practices at extremely young ages. It's really bad. It's not close. And anybody who was covering that knows the truth about that. Most people, cute nerd, that know the bill, that have read the bill, know how reasonable it was and how it wasn't what people say. And what people like Gavin Newsom and Disney and everybody else said, oh, this is making LGBT people deny that they exist. No, it's saying you can't talk about sex. You can't talk about sex. Sorry, can't talk about it. You can say whatever you want to say about your personal identity. You want to say, I am gay, that's fine. You can't explain what butt sex is in class. That's the difference. Right? Now let's get into some of these Rumble rants. Occupant for $10 says, Occupant 42 says, when Disney asked to dismiss the case, could Florida oppose it? Ask the judge not to dismiss the case so they can seek compensation for legal fees. They probably wouldn't, but could they? They could. They could oppose their motion to dismiss. They could do that. I don't think it would. I think they would be allowed to. Well, hold on, pause. Disney can withdraw their complaint. So sorry. In the federal case, I'm thinking in the state case. The federal case, because we're talking state, so I was thinking state. So obviously a motion to dismiss at the state level would be opposed. And by the way, Disney lost its motion to dismiss the state case. But in the federal side, if they withdraw their complaint, the person who filed the complaint can withdraw the complaint. So in the federal case, they can't stop it. They can't stop Disney. That's what Disney still has the power to run away. They cannot stop that. That's still possible. So next, Lele 777 or just Lele says, after seeing how YouTube treated brand, I don't want to give YouTube a cent. Have a great time working a week slaying the rat. Go Rumble, support the free speech platform. Guys, I'm always up on Rumble. I'm always up over here on Rumble as well. So you guys can come over here and support me over there on Rumble as well. Thank you very much. And I do appreciate they've been free speech on that. And I will be covering the brand stuff. I know not all of you are interested in the brand stuff, but I do think it's very important for free speech. And I am a big guy who stands for real free speech, not the fake free speech that Disney thinks it stands for. SC Medic 71 says, but are we live? And then Occupant 41 followed up with $1 says, or is it Memorex? No, we are indeed live today. So appreciate y'all. And I just want to say a big appreciation on Rumble for all of y'all over there on the extremely based platform. Also, what's up to everybody on Locals as well? What's up to Jay and Sleazy, all those hanging out on Locals as well, being absolutely delightfully degenerate. But speaking of degenerate, let's get into this filing. Okay. So here we go. I want to pull this out. And I by the way, this is the circuit that I used to practice in. So this is my circuit. I've filed stuff here before. So I know that the barrier to entry is very easy to file. Anybody can just file something. It's very easy to file. But this is just memorable. So to the clerk of the court filing civil case 2023, the guy wrote thank you. Nobody writes thank you on this, but whatever. Okay. So this is in the case of the Central Florida Tourism Oversight District versus Walt Disney. So this guy, he wrote what he calls an amicus curiae on behalf of the defendant of an exculpatory clause for affirmative cause of action disclosure. This does not mean what the guy thinks it's being. These is some jibber jabber that means that, okay, an amicus curiae is a friend of the court brief, which isn't really appropriate in this venue, right? It's not really appropriate at all. An exculpatory clause is something that would relieve them of liability and an affirmative cause of action, even though he doesn't have a cause of action. He's not a party here. This guy's not a party at all. So The furthermore, Jonathan M. Foster. So here's our sovereign citizen level manifesto dude. Our Matt Harris is Jonathan N. Foster here today. Our Disney Matt Harris. And I'll try to read this in the unbreaded voice here. Undersigned of the above caption and embodied content for an amicus curiae on behalf of the defendant of an exculpatory clause, affirmative cause of action disclosure moves this honorable court. By the way, all of these markings and underlines are his. These are all his emphasis, not the court. For an enhancement, change of venue, atmosphere. Guys, this is a completely made up thing. There's no such thing as an enhancement, change of venue, atmosphere. This is 100% made up. Before Her Honorable Senior Chief Judge Lisa T. Munyon presiding. Okay, so they want to change the judge to Judge Munyon. I don't know why. Do you have a crush on her? I don't know what's going on there. The undersigned acknowledges that a prosecutor within the same jurisdiction did state as to where it did stem from a trial period before Her Honorable Senior Chief Justice Munyon. The undersigned moves this honorable court for citation Warren versus DeSantis, a state constitutional violation and removal of State Attorney Andrew Warren before federal judge Robert L. Hinkle in the Florida Supreme Court was believed to refuse to reinstate Andrew Warren. Who the fuck is Andrew Warren? Why do we care about Andrew Warren? This is lovely. I love this. The undersigned acknowledges that by association, the defendant, Governor Ron DeSantis isn't even in this case at all, guys. This is not even the case involving, and this case doesn't even have Ron DeSantis as the defendant. Anyways, the undersigned acknowledges that by association, defendant Ron DeSantis suspends State Attorney Monica Worrell for neglect of duty and incompetence for history, Tallahassee, Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis did announce the suspension of State Attorney Monica Worrell of the 9th Judicial Circuit jurisdiction for neglecting his or her duty to faithfully prosecute crime in his or her jurisdiction. 9th August 2023, an ongoing investigation. The undersigned states he disclosed for citing the substantial removal of defendant Governor Ron DeSantis, Ronald Dion DeSantis, to vacate from the state of Florida governor's office as submitted in amicus brief within Disney World Parks and Resorts versus DeSantis District Court, Northern District of Florida, before Honorable Federal Judge Alan C. Windsor presiding, and further states that defendant Ron DeSantis, with its implications within the great state of Georgia, for citing an indictment of the defendant, former U.S. President, Donald John Trump. We've said the name. Case number 23CS188947. In particular, it's conspiracy with application of mass influencer campaigns with a lowercase s. That it did lend itself to multiple jurisdiction arrests. It has inflicted a far-reaching breach of integrity. Refer to DC 10's 1979 by a structural crack. Grounded, yes, a structural crack. Economic injuries, defamation, physical injuries, death, and the defendant, Ron DeSantis, shall concede. 3B, it's possible Rudy Giuliani, a former associate general, U.S. attorney, and former mayor of the New York City, shall cooperate and may turn. He's going to turn state and federal witness level against like his power level. Against defendant former President Trump and defendant Ron DeSantis, in particular, when a former mayor, Rudy Giuliani of New York City, did clean up an understated sleazy area to open it up for Traddle family district of a Disney's concept within the 90s. And it's alleged again that Ronald Dion DeSantis did violate Georgia, Florida statute 777.03 defines what it did to be an accessory after the fact in Florida. When you violate this law, you assist someone after he has committed a felony by helping in his or her evade arrest, trial, conviction, or punishment for defendant Governor Ron DeSantis for his alleged act to attempt to obstruct an extradition and obstruct a subpoena with an intent of elections violation pending an ongoing investigation, disqualification and memorandum of law, atmosphere, venue. Yes, we're back to the vibe venue. Refer to a witness, Honorable Dave Arenberg, State Attorney Statement, 5th Judicial Circuit, Palm Beach County, West Palm Beach, Florida, and before its Honorable Judge Scott McAfee, Georgia, presiding. The undersigned did provide the Honorable Andrew A. Bain, State Attorney and former judge of the 9th Judicial Circuit, Florida, installed into his current position with Ron DeSantis, was offered information in correspondent communication from August 25th as to the current transition processing forward, and State Attorney Bain knew or should have known to share the pertinent information to the hierarchy of her honorableness, Senior Judge Lisa T. Munyon, simping hard, 9th Judicial Circuit, Middle State District, Orange County, Florida. Moreover, in closing, the understated did advance a letter heading Galaxy Bar Association, yes, Galaxy Bar Association, as with its understood legality, an American way for the real application submitted to the Florida's Division of Elections, with which it did receive an individual, Melissa Nelson, State Attorney, 4th Judicial District, Duval County, for her name to be installed on the ballot prior to its deadline date on about the year 2021. A 2023 legislative proposal was submitted to Honorable Kathleen Pasademo, President, Florida Senate, via USPS, good old Postal Service, Lauren Book, Senate Minority Leader by email, Angela Nixon, a message left on her voicemail. In all, it did introduce a legislative proposal for the processing of a unanimous vote to fulfill the vacate position to see a first addressing a lady governor, Melissa Nelson, a rising star Republican, as for her withstanding of the administration's duty-bound by law within the state of Florida's governor office. Sincerely, giant scribbles, Jonathan M. Foster. This was CC'd to Honorable Judge Alan Windsor of Florida, Judge Scott McAfee of Georgia, Fannie Willis, District Attorney of Georgia. Source, very important, artificial intelligence, AI, Tyrone. Algorithms, nanobots. That's it, guys. That's what we got here. What'd you guys think of that? Did you guys enjoy the absolutely insanity of that filing? That's real. That was filed. I didn't make that up. You can go look that up online. You can pull that up on the Orange County Clerk of Court. That was literal insanity. That was legal diarrhea. That was absolutely nuts. And sometimes you get these crazies that are in there just saying things which don't make sense at all whatsoever. Like literally these words don't go together. I'm pretty sure an AI wrote that. On Rumble, Ruffalo 1804 says, this hardcore amicus curiae raid is so metal, it should be sponsored by Liquid Death. Yes, it's absolutely crazy. It's nuts. And I honestly, guys, I kind of thought that was fun. To me, that's fun. I like doing that. It's insane. It's insane. It's great. But you know what? Every once in a while, it's worth it. I will say, I kind of want to join the Galaxy Bar Association. I do kind of want to join that. I am kind of mad that I'm not a member of the Galaxy Bar Association. You know, I'm just a measly member of the Florida Bar. But even the AI, I don't think the AI could be that bad. I really don't think the AI could be that bad. I think the guy had to go in there and manually change what it does. Also, Not K says the AI doesn't exist. I looked. Okay. That's crazy. That's fucking nuts. Yeah, the Galaxy Bar Association. I think we got to start that. I think that's got to be like a new like sponsorship level, Galaxy Bar Association level. Would you fight to make Pluto Plano again? Yes, the entire galaxy is full of planets, including Pluto. They're all planet. You get a planet, and you get a planet, and you get a planet. The Galaxy Bar, probably on the Star Cruiser. Oh no, the Galaxy Bar Association can't meet because it was based on the Star Wars Star Cruiser. Oh no. Oh, it had to shut down. That's why he's butthurt. He's really butthurt about the Star Cruiser. That's why he really filed. That makes sense. That really makes sense. They shut down his Star Cruiser, so he had to get butthurt about that. This is the most. Do I get a most Isley Cantina deals if I join the Galaxy Bar? Maybe. It's very possible. The cantina is great. Most likely, Daddy Elon will support the GBA. Absolutely. SpaceX is down for it. Aussie Overlord says Galaxy Bar Association, a group of fatties sitting around eating Galaxy chocolate bars. Listen, Koala, I'm just saying. I'm catching you chowing down on the Marmite. I see you. I see you over there. But good to see you, Ozzy. Base chat over there. But guys, no, that was the crazy filing. Sometimes that happens. Don't think much of it. When you see stuff like that, know it's crazy. Know it's insane. Know it's just somebody filing, having some fun, and we're going to laugh at them. Ben SC on Rumble says, but is it lawful law? I think we are going to need to call grounds on that one. We're going to need to call grounds on that one. Guys, listen, I had fun today. My next update will probably be more of a general news. I'll probably do a little bit of a broader news update. It seems like we're caught up on the Disney stuff, but make sure that you also are clicked into notifications, that you're clicked into subscribing to the channel. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube just unsubscribed a bunch of folks. So make sure you click to subscribe. They've been doing that. I think it was like when I started covering the brand stuff, they unsubscribed a bunch of people, which is really weird and funky. So make sure your notifications are on. Make sure you're subscribed. Guys, I will be back tomorrow with more good news, and also we'll be back on other channels as well. Also, one last little comment here from locals. There is such thing as a Galaxy Bar Association. Well, we can make it. We can make it. Oh, yeah, because there was a filing by the Galaxy Bar Association in the Donald Trump case. Oh, interesting. Interesting. We'll cover that in another episode. But until then, guys, take care. Stay based. Peace.